what to do. Yesterday, I did a tour of a college campus for my daughter. And so we drove to Norman, Oklahoma, and then we drove back. And so that was 6+ hours on the road. And the day just, I mean, you can't like work on the road. You can't work while you're driving down 35. So anyway, I feel like today is a total Monday. So anyways, but I'm getting so excited, you guys. We have Illuminate coming up here in less than a week. If you are on my team, I could not be more excited to have you at my house. I know Allie is so excited to have you at her house if you are on her team. Just to give you a little backstory, our parents trained us to be entertainers. Not really like that there was a course at the McKinney household. That's our maiden name. But our parents always entertained throughout life. And my mom and dad, I think you guys probably know, Tish and Allie and I were raised by, yes, our father was a physician, but our parents are also cattle breeders. And they bred a breed of cattle called Brahman cattle. And Brahman cattle are the ones with the big humps and the long ears. Okay. So although you may not think we're country girls, we were actually raised, with this, okay? And our mother is Cuban, you guys know that. And so the Brahman cattle are a warm weather breed of animal. Okay, y'all did not know you were getting a lesson today in cattle, but you are. And so because my mother could speak Spanish and Brahman cattle are a warm weather breed of cattle, my parents sold a lot to Central and South America. And so buyers would come up and we were constantly entertaining. And my father was president of the American Brahman Breeders Association, which is, their organization for their breed of cattle. And so we were always entertaining. So with that being said, I digress. Tish and Allie and I were raised to have people in our home. And so it is like kind of our love language. So if you are coming to Illuminate, I just want you to know we could not be happier to host you in our homes. So it'll be really fun and really exciting. So that's the first thing. Secondly, a little housekeeping. Next week on Tuesday, we will not have leader call because we will be, some of us will still be in Illuminate. So just so you know, mark your calendars. We will not have a call next Tuesday. So there's that. Then also, I'm really excited and I'm really grateful to Sarah Catherine, Joseph, and to Anya because of you guys sharing about hosting your own team call. Already, several of you guys have kicked them off. So I just want to give a shout out to Emily Taylor. I got a text from her yesterday saying she had 12 people on her first one and she was really proud and really excited. That was last night. I also know Jessica Powers started one. Jennifer Krause started one. Allie told me, yes, I'm so excited. Let me open the chat. There may be more of you. I know some of you guys were going to partner together and do it. I also want to say, give yourself grace. I'm looking at Kim Craddock. Because right now, if you are in a season of chaoticness, you might be like, okay, I cannot take that on this week or this month. She is in, graduation season for her daughter and 15 other things that we could list. Okay. So if your name wasn't listed, this does not mean shame on me. No. Okay. We are, a group of supportive women. I just want you to know you can do. Lupe's is like starting it next week. Yes, it's fine. Okay. When it works for you, let it work for you. Sometimes these suggestions are given. Oh, hold on a second. I'm like muting and unmuting and doing too many things at once. And you may want to implement it. You may think it's a great idea. You may know your team will, benefit from it, but the timing may not be perfect right now. So just know that that's okay too. Okay. So just wanted to say that. All right. So today our topic, I love. It may just be, I don't know, maybe of the heart of me and Allie for sure. but it's projecting positivity and perspective. And so I thought it would be really fun. I know we all love Simon Sinek. I've got a really great video that's just 4 minutes long that I would love to share from Simon before we kind of kick this off. So, oh, now you guys are seeing my notes to the call. Okay, here we go. Let's kick it off with a little Simon. It says leadership has nothing to do with rank. Okay.
Right? I know many people who sit at the highest levels of organization. Leadership has nothing to do with rank, right? I know many people who sit at the highest levels of organizations who are not leaders. We do as they tell us because they have authority over us, but we would never choose to follow them. And yet I know many people with no formal rank and no formal authority who've made the choice to look after the person to the left of them and made the choice to look after the person to the right of them, and we would follow them anywhere. We call you leader, not because you're at the top. We call you leader because you went first, because you took the risk to head towards the danger. You took the risk to express uncertainty. You took the risk to ask for help. That's why you earn the rank of leader, because you literally led by the behavior. You led by example. When this person says, my leader's not taking care of our team, I get that. The question is, who's taking care of the team? You can be the leader you wish you had. It does not require rank or authority to pick up the phone and say, how are you? And it can come from anywhere inside the organization where one person may take responsibility to take care of the mental health of everybody. Congratulations, you are a leader. What's also fundamental is that whoever that person is must remember to act with others. In other words, don't just make this unilateral decision that I'm going to just go take care of everybody because my leader is ineffective, blah, 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 blah. One, talk to colleagues and say, hey, I think what I need to do, I think our team is struggling. I think I'm going to reach out to everybody. Make sure someone knows what you're doing. Leadership is a team sport because things will go wrong. Things will get difficult. Some people may not appreciate it. You got to have somebody that you can call up and be like, ugh, what do I do? Also, don't assume the leader's ineffective. Use the same empathy that we expect down the chain of command, up the chain of command. Maybe my leader is stuck. Maybe my leader is confused. Maybe my leader is stressed out of their mind. Maybe my leader is dealing with trauma. We have no idea what's going on in that person's private life. Maybe my leader's got marital issues or struggling with their kids. Like, we don't know. And so sometimes part of that check-in is to call our boss and, hey, boss, you were really hard on us on the Zoom call the other day. I just wanted to see, are you okay? And giving a leader a safe space might be everything. And also, don't expect that you're going to get the reaction you want immediately. Some people are reactors. Some people need time to think and to process before they react. So we can't expect people to react the way we would react. And so if somebody, now let's take the other scenario, which is there actually is a leader who is completely ineffective. And this is why I talk about telling people what you're doing. I'm going to chicken on everybody, because you could ruffle the feathers of a big ego, right? You could ruffle the feathers of someone who's insecure. And so it could come down on you. This is the risk of leadership. Remember, leadership comes with risk, which is if you're willing to stick your neck out, even if it's to take care of your folks, it can sometimes backfire and hurt. The question is it worth it? And for most people who want to be a leader, that risk is worth it. This is why we so admire leaders who put their careers on the line to do the right thing, because they were willing to risk it. And so you could risk getting in trouble. You could risk getting yelled at. You could risk being told, stop doing my job. All true. And if you're alone in that, you're going to have to bear that stress. If some other people know what you're doing, you'll find comfort and security and confidence just knowing that there are other people who have your back as well. So make sure you got a leadership buddy. Leadership is a team sport. You would never go scuba diving by yourself. It's too dangerous. Don't try and be a leader by yourself. Too dangerous, too difficult. And like I said, sometimes leading up is what's necessary. We can actually help our leaders be better leaders, because we're going to demonstrate the behavior. We're going to express empathy. We're going to see how they are. We're going to support them. Hey, boss, I got your back, whatever you need. I'm here. If you want to vent, I'm here. And give them a safe space also. It goes up and down.
So I love that. Jenny's saying amen. Any comments, like something that Simon said that makes you think? I would love to hear anything that struck you that he said. Oh, I forgot to say Allie wasn't here. Oh, sorry, Kim. Allie's not here because she's practicing her Illuminate panel. Sorry, I just thought to say that. Okay, go ahead, Kim.
Well, I was just gonna say it was kind of the reverse, a little bit of the reverse, but as you guys just said, I'm in a season right now for the next foreseeable few months where with graduation and all the things going on, getting my daughter off to college in the fall and stuff. I'm kind of just maintaining, right? Sometimes we're just trying to maintain, and oftentimes I think that fall short with leading our team. And I do take pride in my leadership in lots of different areas of my life. And so what I took from that was not just that I can step in and do something, but you know what? I can ask for help. I can ask for help because I've got leaders on my team. Like, why I'm not reaching out to them and saying, this is what's going on with me right now. Can you run our messenger chat? Can you make sure that, this is going on or that's going on? Can you do shout outs for me if I, give you some stuff to shout people out for? Like it was kind of an aha, like, oh my gosh, I don't have to be alone. And it's funny because in other areas of my life where I have led, I'm never alone. Like I always surround myself with strong women and delegate and we work together. Why is this different? Somehow in my mind, I thought I have to do it all. I have to be the leader for my team and nobody else can do it, or I'm just I'm not doing my job. But all of a sudden I'm like, oh, so if you're listening and you're on there today, I'm going to be calling you. Where are you? I'm calling you.
Looking for you.
Get ready. We can ask for help as leaders. I think oftentimes we think we can. I don't know if he said that or not, but anyway, that was my takeaway.
Well,
Yay.
regardless if he said it, that's a really good takeaway. Megan says she's ready.
I agree. I really took away the leadership as a team sport because I get easily overwhelmed. And I think in my mind sometimes like how I want to grow 100-person team. How in the world will I ever do that? And then I get in my own head, like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And then I think when I just hear that, it's like, okay, well, I can ask for help. I don't have to do it all by myself. And you ladies are, I'm getting emotional because it's like really hit for me today. I can ask for help. And with the state that I'm in right now, it's like really tough for me to ask for help because I feel like I've been punched in the gut with my day job and getting laid off. So I'm already feeling not confident. But having y'all ladies be that leadership support really helps me to feel confident and gain that little piece of confidence back that like this is possible and I can become the leader that I know that I want to be and that I can be. So I really liked this little session today. So thank you for that little video.
Oh gosh, you know what? Sometimes you never know what exactly is what people need to hear. I tell you what, if you're ever in need of just something, go look for Simon Sinek. I don't know what it is about him. He's so authentic. Jeanette, thank you for sharing that. Lupita, I see your hand.
Yes. I rarely ever, comment or show my face and things of that sort, but this year was a really rough year and I always hate to share all my problems because it's like a domino effect. One thing leads after another. And, I don't like excuses. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not an excuse. It's just part of life, And so 2024 has changed my way of thinking, but then God changes it for you too, right? And so I was on the phone yesterday because I got excited and I thought, I saw what Emily and Sarah Catherine were doing a couple of weeks ago. And I thought, I want to do this. Well, when that happened, then, a death occurred. And then my husband got sick. And then, then you just lose track of time. And I thought, I've got to stop excuses. I'm just going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call one of my team members. And I did last night, I don't know when I called. See. And then I reached out to Emily and I said, I need to do this. And it, so like you said, it doesn't matter. And, leader is not a title. Everybody's a leader. Everybody needs to do that. And I know that, I truly know that because I've done it for so many years, but I'm like the plumber, you know what I mean? I take care of everyone else, but then you don't take care of yourself. Right. But here's the deal. If you don't put your oxygen mask on first, you can't help anyone else, So I put on that oxygen mask over the weekend, and I said, you know what, irregardless, I need to start reaching out to my team, because if something happens, a hiccup, we all need to be duplicatable in our own way. And I thought, I'm just going to just do it. And I did. And it felt good because it wasn't an excuse. I just basically said, you know, this is what happened. This is how it is. And that's it. It's not an excuse. It's just life. And the beauty behind Park Lane is that you can pick up whenever. And it does not matter. It doesn't matter how long we've been in it, whether we've been in it 12 years, 4 years, 3 years. The timing is going to be for when you're ready. And I always use ready as an acronym. When you're ready, you don't take your life in reverse. That's what R stands for, because you are an expert, you know to take action, and you're going to get denied no matter what. But if you always keep your why in front of you, you will always stay forward. And so I just had to share that, because I have learned in the 4 years that the tribe, or 5 years the tribe's been here, you know, I've just been watching and soaking it all, but I've not done the action. I've stayed in reverse because I chose to. No one forces you but yourself. And so moving forward, it's going to take a team for us to grow together, whether it's my own personal team or any one of you ladies. And I shouldn't feel ashamed. And that's what I wanted to share, because
Thank you, Lupita.
I did. I have to share that. So thank you, everybody.
Well, it's so, I mean, I'm going to use a simple example just for those of y'all that are on my team. And I know Allie does the same thing. You know, we lead a system Saturday call. And that was a suggestion literally given by one of our team members. Oh my gosh, 2.5 years ago. And at first glance, I was a little overwhelmed because I was thinking every Saturday I have to lead a call, you know? And so I leaned in and asked a couple people, et cetera, to help, because I can't do it all by myself. And that it's on my mind because just this morning I was putting together our new, you know, Q4 schedule, and inviting different people to participate and help lead. And I thought, you know, when y'all are talking, I'm like, this is a perfect example of how this has manifested in time. There are 10 or 12 people now helping to lead that call, and we could not grow alone, you know, and every single one of us has something of value to offer. There used to be a time in my leadership where I was a little more guarded as to, you know, what information I wanted shared with the team. To be honest, I don't know how to say it any like more politically correct way. And what I mean by that is, like, the company I came from, there was one way to do things. And that's how I was raised in the industry. And so when I came to Park Lane, and I learned from the Levines and from this company that there is not just one way to do this business. I mean, if we let every single one of us on this call talk about how we have success, we're going to have 20 different things. You know, some of us are like super active in VIP group and, you know, this game and that incentive. And then some of us are like the systems party people. And some of us want to go and do in-home. And some of us run vendor events. And so the beauty of coming together and relying on your team members and your team members that have clearly value to share is that all of a sudden you're bringing different ideas and suggestions that maybe other people will grab onto, that maybe what you suggest may not be like, you know, the end all be all to them in the moment. You know, one of the things I learned in leadership coaching calls is to let those that you're talking to answer their own questions. When somebody says, you know, I'm getting a hypothetical, you know, Christy, I'm struggling with getting parties booked. Basically letting them answer what they're comfortable with. Okay. Because sometimes I could suggest something, but they may be like, was not my comfort zone, you know? So almost like, you know, letting them suggest what they're comfortable with. That's the beauty of having many people within your team jump in and give, you know, help and suggestions, et cetera. So anyway, thank you for y'all sharing. Was there anybody else that wanted to share anything they took away from Simon? Okay. Well, one of the things I wanted to focus on is, the aspect of so leader without a title. If you guys have never heard of Robin Sharma, I can't remember if Allie and I talked about him last week, but Robin Sharma, and I'm going to type him in the comments, is an author. Yes, such a good book, right, Kathy? And Kathy, I'm going to say a few things. If you think of what you remember from that book, I would love for you to share. But the concept is, it's a fable, actually. So for those of y'all that were not great literary students, a fable is a story that is getting across a point, but in a fictional perspective. Okay. And he is a past military. I don't know if what branch of the military, but the book gives certain stories about different people that take their role in life to a leadership place. And I'm going to give an example. He talks about this woman who is a housekeeper in a hotel, and how she is the person when you walk down the hall. And I'm gonna kind of making this up because, unlike Kathy, I don't know when you read it, Kathy, it's been a good probably 8 years since I read it, but really one of those books that struck me. You pass her in the hall and she's, saying, hello, can I help you? Even if she's not the person that's maintaining your room, she's the person that is friendly to all the other staff, and kind of, she doesn't have a leadership title. She just acts as a person you would respect, admire, want to be with, have that kind of air about her. Okay. So he uses her as an example and tells a lengthy story about her and how she is a leader without a title. And really the premise is what that does to those around you. And so, Kathy, I don't know if you want to add anything to that. I would love for you to.
Well, it has been quite a while since I read it. But it is one of my favorite leadership type books, because it really helps to reinforce in our minds how we don't have to get hung up on what level we're at. That's not really the important part. I mean, I know we get paid based on that, but seriously, it doesn't have to be a big deal. And, it really, it's been quite a while. It's just, if I need a good boost into my head, I will go back to that because I have it on Audible and I love Audible. So
Yep. Yep. And yes, Rachel, it's the leader who had no title. And that is the premise. And here, especially in a direct sales organization where we have titles, where you're working maybe to the next rank, et cetera. What I love about it is that within our team, within our treasure tribe, that, and honestly, within Park Lane, that is important, but not really that important. And I love that about our culture. Where I came from for my 10 years prior, you would get invited to certain cocktail parties based on your title. And if you lost your title, you didn't get back invited to the cocktail party. Okay. Right, Kim? It's horrible. It does not feel good. People were always feeling yucky about themselves when they weren't able to, they'd lose their title, et cetera. I mean, it kind of goes against, I hate even saying that, kind of goes against the whole premise of literally like my foundation, probably most of yours, like yuck. And so I love that at Park Lane, we don't have that. And that's not something that we're constantly working toward. The beauty of a leader without a title, and the beauty of the concept is that, all of us have the opportunity to rise up and be that person. And so, I wrote down a few things, that I feel are important for us to think about when you think about positivity and really perspective, and how you can impact not only your team, you guys, but the greater treasure tribe, the greater community. Because think about all of the different chat groups that we're in, or pacing groups that we're in, and how you show up to those, and how you show up for your team, and the attitude that you have is pivotal in how you will grow and how your team will grow. So, okay, let me read this off. Okay. First of all, why is it important to understand the impact of positivity? Okay. There is literally a science behind positive thinking and positive attitude. And really what it does for your community and our community is it creates hope. And I'm not talking you need to have a fake Pollyanna positivity. That's not what I mean. There is never going to be perfection. All week long, every day, everything's going to go great. Nothing's going to be on back order. There's not going to be a size of a ring available that somebody gets a gift card for that they don't want. I mean, all the things are like, all the things, that can happen. That all this can happen. Really, what I'm trying to, so when all those happen, a community of positivity will leave people with a feeling of hope. That's what it does in the brain. And that is what you want versus when there is fear and negativity and snippiness, if that's a word. It's a deterrent. Okay. So there is a science behind it. Also, a positive leadership style can result in higher engagement rates. Okay. Increased productivity of your team and a better team morale. So again, I'm sharing these things. So really, ultimately, as you are creating the community and doing just communication with your team, using that filter of, am I, the way I respond or the way I put out information, is it creating hope or is it reducing productivity? Okay, I'm going to stop right there for a second because first of all, does that make sense? Like, am I getting my point across? Like, I know what I'm thinking, but am I getting my point across? Okay, it's coming across. I'm going to give a little example. Allie shared this with me and she wanted to share this. This was like super hot button on Allie's mind. So those of y'all on Allie's team, or all of us kind of, know our personalities now and know what's going on in our life. Allie is living the dance mom life. Okay. She is in it right now, like full force. And that is a challenging, not just dance mom, drill team mom. If you're from the South, drill teams are a challenge. Okay. The cultures. And Allie was talking to the drill team sponsor. And Allie suggested that maybe they should have a chat group for the moms because communicate Kim's face. Because sometimes communication can be a challenge. First of all, the drill team Allie is part of, the communication is kind of like, okay. So things are changing all the time. The girls don't know. And so somebody suggested, might have been Allie, like maybe she suggested the sponsor, we should have a chat group for the moms. And the drill team sponsor was like, no. Because when sometimes you create a forum for people and you've got a lot of negativity, which can happen with parents. Any of you guys have been involved. If you've been a teacher, if you've been a coach, you kind of know that the parents, whether it's boys or girls teams, can be a little cray-cray at times. Okay. If you create a forum where there's an opportunity for people to vent, it can be toxic. It can be a cancer. And so Allie was like, she was like, you know what? You're right. And I'm going to tell y'all something. When we first came to Park Lane, we have a gymnastics mom. We didn't ask coach. Yeah, that's funny, Margaret. Where I came from, we would have leadership communication chats. Okay. Facebook groups. I don't remember. And boy, would they become negative. People would use them as a forum to, did anybody hear that the such and such is, on back order? And then People would just, and when we came here, we actually asked for a leadership chat opportunity with other organizations like, Mary Grace Lewandowski's organization or whatever, because we were so new and we're trying to learn all the things. And we were told no. And let me tell you, now that I have had time to reflect, this is not Park Lane's first rodeo. In fact, y'all, I saw this pillow yesterday. I was in Norman, Oklahoma with my daughter. We were killing time for 45 minutes. And the pillow, like this little couch pillow, said, this actually is my first rodeo. I like wanted to buy it, but it was $115. I was like, no, it was like cross stitch, but I thought it was the cutest thing. Actually, this is my first rodeo. But anyway, Park Lane is not this our first rodeo. And they have found, I am certain, we've not been told this, but it is clear as day to me now. Sometimes when you create forums for people, it can become negative, and that is toxic. And so it's really important as a leader without a title, doesn't matter if you are area leader, branch leader, fashion director, sales VP, to in our chat forums, in your team groups, etc., to really be that voice of reason and positivity. And again, I'm not saying ignore when there are challenging things that might be happening. It's just pick your forum. And here's the filter I want you to run it through. Think of your to-do list. Here's Christie's for today. Okay. If I get derailed, am I going to get through all this stuff? No. And sometimes all it takes is me being a part of something and somebody that a topic comes up that doesn't even affect me. And then I start thinking about it and I start worrying about it. And I start checking with, well, do y'all know? And I'm not saying if you guys are coming to me with a question, that's not what I mean. I'm saying like, if I'm just in a random message thread and stuff starts coming through, it's going to distract me. So here's a formula that I wrote down. Well, let me say this first. I actually heard this today when I was looking for the Simon Sinek video. Anytime you are distracted, you guys, with anything technology driven, it takes you 20 to 25 minutes to get your head back into the game of whatever you were focusing on. 20 to 25 minutes. So if you think about your team, time equals money. Time equals productivity, which equals money. And if you want your team to stay focused on the income producing activities, you want to minimize the, lack of a better word, drama. Okay. And I'm not saying that everything's drama if an issue is brought up. It's just a filter to run it through. How do I respond? How do I, drama is a better word. Amanda. Yeah. Well, it's okay. We can write it in the chat. Yeah, the chatter, the drama, the BS. So you want to think about that, because I guarantee you Scott Levine thinks about it. They limit how soon they tell us about stuff. There is a timeline and a psychology behind it, because we get distracted, and distraction affects productivity, affects volume. And so the volume of your team is what you get paid on. It's what they get paid on. And if that is being impacted, then there could be frustration on each person's individual levels, if they're not making the money they want to make, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's very important as a leader in our community, in your community, to maintain a very positive response to things or approach to things. Okay. I'm going to give an example. Megan, are you on here? I can't see you, but I think you were. She might've had to get off.
No, I'm
there you are. Okay. I'm going to use you as an example. Okay. You're like, "Oh, Lord." About a week or two ago, Megan
I
texted
was
me.
drowning. I was drowning.
No, don't worry about it. This is a great example.
No, are you gonna tell them about that? I was drowning 2 weeks ago and I called for help.
No, well, I don't know. That might have been a different call. Just kidding.
Okay.
I don't know what you're referring to, but this is the thing I remember. She texts me and she said, I'm concerned. An email went out for the Sparkle Box and or Sparkle Box exclusive or something. And our names were left off. It said like your name, your address, like the automatic filter did not fill in your name as the stylist. It went out to the customer base. And in the email, instead of saying necklace, it was a necklace, the Puma necklace, it said bracelet. Okay. Kudos to Megan. Guess what she did not do? She did not go into our leader chat. Oh my God, did y'all see? Da da da. And she specifically said in my text, I am not mad about this. I'm saying it to you. I'm not going to go into a forum because I don't want to distract everybody else. Can I just thank Megan for that? Because that is true leadership. Because what would have happened if you went into a forum is, guess what? All of a sudden, Sparkle Box exclusive. Oh my God. Oh my God. And oh my gosh, the email. Now, don't get me wrong. I sent that up. You know, they felt terrible that it happened. But that's the best way to handle it, because you might have just, if you put that into a chat, it would create a frenzy. Allison, thank you for typing that. You know, you might have 4 people on your team working on bookings that day, or they may be working on closing out some parties or doing their 3-way chats or whatever. And all of a sudden you got them focused on something, or maybe they would have sold 1 Sparkle Box exclusive. I'm not trying to minimize the Sparkle Box exclusive, but come on. So I want to give that example because I really appreciated it. And I thought it was a perfect thing. Okay. A perfect example of how we can, you know, use the appropriate chains and not distract, as Emily said, and divert people's attention from what they are actually working on. So, okay, I'm gonna stop right there for a second. Any thoughts anybody has on this? Any other examples? This is just, it's something that it's not really the most fun to talk about.
Well, I was going to ask, it's hard to know. I think talking about it in a leader meeting is good because it's hard to know the channels to take.
Yes.
So, and I was upset because a few Sparkle people had dropped, and I felt like the same energy that had been put in the past was not put into that month. But I talked to you about it to say, hey, if we're going to do Sparkle Box, let's do it, you know.
And
But
what was
I know
funny,
they
you know
were
what?
busy. They were busy with $8 deals or $7 deals and all that, right?
Well, they're busy with a lot of things, but Megan, it's fun. I'm glad you actually just continued saying that, because I actually wrote this down, but my notes are so daggum small I can hardly read them. I wrote this down because this was what was interesting perspective, you guys. Megan's perspective was she didn't love the Sparkle Box. Okay. I'm gonna be like totally honest here. And this is what is so important as leaders, to talk to your team members and think through perspectives. Because guess what? I think, y'all, I was gone yesterday. Remember, today is Monday for me. Didn't the Sparkle Box sell out?
Well, and you said everyone I lost, you gained.
That's what I was going to say. Megan, the day she reached out to me saying she had lost, 1 or 2 customers, I literally gained 2 customers that day. And I said to her, it's just very interesting. And I gave this story. There was I can't remember if it was Park Lane, or I can't remember if it was my previous company. There was a necklace named Rachel. I think it was my previous company. Does that sound familiar, Kim? No. Okay. Y'all, it was heinous. It was like old lady jewelry. I'm so sorry to say that. It's just very boring. I didn't buy it with my kit when I first got it or whatever. But guess what? Everyone was selling it. And you had to have that Rachel necklace, or else, you know, you were stupid. Like you wanted to have the Rachel necklace. I'm sure we have something like that I don't necessarily love, but it sells a ton. And now I don't even care. I'm like, it's a moneymaker, whatever. Now I've learned better. But here's the deal. Not every piece of jewelry is going to speak to every person. And so I told Megan, I was like, you know, it's so funny that you say that because you had 2 drop off. I gained 2. And here's what I thought about that piece. It reminded me of the Rachel. And I told her the story about the Rachel necklace. Like it may not be the most fashion forward. It may not be, you know, I don't know, but it's a simple piece that is going to speak to a lot of the masses. Okay. Where maybe these wouldn't, or maybe like, I don't know, I keep my sparkle box displayed every month right down here. I was going to pull out last month's. Last month's might have not spoken to many. So we talked through it. Like, I hear you, Megan. Totally hear you. It's interesting. Here's what happened to me. But what I found in the jewelry business for so many years is there's going to be those pieces that are like the Rachel. There's going to be those that are like more like fashiony and, you know, whatever, but you want to balance. And she's like, you know what, you're right, etc. I appreciated her coming to me as talking about it. And we were able to give and come together on a couple of different perspectives because full transparency, y'all do not go tell Taylor Levine, wasn't my favorite, but I don't care. I got 2 new subscribers. So it's just a matter of giving your team members perspective at times when something, you know, she got 2 cancellations and she gets a little nervous. Yes, I get it. So does this make sense? And how you can be helpful as a leader to talk people through these perspectives, not be an alarmist, not, you know, be nervous. Now, sometimes it may take, like Simon talked about, phoning that friend, phoning that leader that you know, it doesn't have to be the leader that is your upline. Could be your sideline buddy that really you gel with, you know, that you respect and trust their opinion, et cetera. And how can we talk through this and so forth? So talk them off the ledge. Exactly. Okay, let's see. What else did I want to reemphasize? Okay, here's another example. It is really important, especially in leadership, and we've talked about this a lot. At times you're going to have struggles. You know, at times your parties are going to be poo-poo. At times you are not going to be on your sponsoring game. One of the worst things that you can do as a leader, because this is definitely not a leader without a title, is, you know, say things like, things are really tough right now to your team. Things are really tough. Tough for me. Okay, there's a difference in saying that and saying, you know what? I've been struggling too, but I'm trying this, or I'm going to try that, or I listened into Amber Gant's training and I heard this, I'm going to implement that. So recently, Jessica Graham, who I don't think is on here. I love Jessica. She is a division leader on our Dreamcatchers team. I was talking to her last week or the week before, and she was talking to me about somebody that is a leader that had really imposed some negativity. And Jessica said to me, she goes, I've been in this business long enough to know. She goes, if you notice, Christy, I kind of keep my little circle real small. She said, because I do not need others to motivate me. I know that you're pivoting constantly. So if I hear negative stuff or people getting down about this or that, she's like, it doesn't do good for me. So I keep in my own little bubble, which I don't necessarily, it's not what I'm trying to say that you need to do. It's just, she said, I have a really good perspective on knowing that you're constantly pivoting in this business. I think she's been in the business maybe like 8 years or something. She's like, you're constantly trying new things. The game is never over. You're never done with customers or like, you know, at a loss for hostesses or at a loss for sponsoring. It may feel like that at some point, but you never are. And I love that she has that mindset. She has that perspective, and she has that realization that, you know, she's like, I got to protect my little self and my community because I don't want to be infused with that. if that makes sense. So, but that is you can either choose to be that kind of leader, or you can choose to be one that maybe doesn't give that perspective and that hope to other people, because there's always hope. I don't care what industry you're in, there's always going to be an up and there's always going to be a down. Always. If you are in, like my husband works for UPS, they did a layoff like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. Okay. Not a real fun time. Yes, he was nervous, but then things turn around, whatever, 6 months later, 8 months later, or whatever. It is normal in any industry. So it's so important for us to just, and I'm speaking individually to each of us. If you're on this call specifically, you want to grow. You would not be setting 1 o'clock Central Time on your calendar on Tuesday. So you would not be doing it. And so checking yourself with, are you leading without that title? Are you being that voice of positivity? Are you helping people feel like they've got a safe place where they can come to you and you give them perspective? You help, serve them in the way that you can, because when you are, that is infectious. That is what will, Emily, you're nodding your head. Emily is the epitome of this. She is just, I know it's probably natural with you, Emily, but you also work at it. And you never, I know there's leaders on her team here. Does she ever infuse any kind of like negative drama? Never. Like, it is just not even a part of your DNA, I don't think. But anyways, okay, yeah, Kathy says never. Yeah, she never does. Okay, I would love any feedback, any thoughts you have, any takeaways of just, okay, like, yeah, she shuts it down very quickly if it even starts creeping in. And it can be a cancer in your organization. It can be an absolute cancer. So it's very key to keep that at bay. So she is sweet as pie, but she's also got a little edge to her too. She's not gonna let you run over her. Okay. Any thoughts? I'd love to know. So, Jessica, did you raise your hand? Yes.
Like, I could use the fake hand, but then you made me laugh when you told me you didn't know how to stop the gestures. I'm like I have like 4 screens up because I'm working my regular job right now, but like this like kind of hit home to me and it made me think about something. I think a lot of times where stuff turns kind of negative is where people are seeking affirmation that they are experiencing something.
So good. Mm-hmm.
And they don't really mean to. And it's not like
Yes.
they're like, has anyone else experienced, like, I have people like that, like on my team, not necessarily with Park Lane, but it's like they kind of feel like they're on an island by themselves and they want someone to say, I have also experienced this too. And so I think in efforts that people are looking to say, I'm not the only one experiencing it, makes them feel like they have a community. And so where things, I think, start out with such a certain intent, end up turning down a negative, kind of, then people are commenting on that comment, and then it goes and spirals off. And so I think that's why it's important for me to share with my team the times I do have what we call the poo-poo parties. Like, I have had parties with 0. I've had hostesses completely ghost me. And I don't think we talk about that enough because it can also be a very negative topic to say, here's all the things that have gone wrong in our business. But it's true. And we have to know that just because you see these amazing people that have all these great successes does not mean that there weren't failures in the middle of that. And so instead of seeking affirmation of are you also experiencing this? Just talk with your teams and share some of the maybe not so great stories so that they don't feel alone, but then they don't have to seek it out and you're kind of going in and saying it. So I've been trying to do that with my team so that they're not feeling like I'm the only one that had no one come to my party. I'm the only one that had a party with 0 orders. And sparkle boxes. I had 27 sparkle boxes and now over 2 months I have 10. That's not going to stop me from selling sparkle boxes. Could it? Yeah, it probably could. But I do tell with my team, they're like, the team, people didn't like it. I said, yeah, there are people that are not going to love the sparkle box every single month. That's why you need to continue sharing it, because somebody is going to say, that's for me, or I need to send that to somebody else. So it was just, I could really be a good poster child for losing 17 subscribers in a 2-month period. And I didn't change anything that I was doing. The sparkle box just changed. So anybody
And-
that has
and
that
it's-
happen, you can give me as an example.
And it's so true. Like I was thinking about Fabletics, which I know Kim didn't used to do Fabletics. Yeah, subscription. And like Emily, like, and you know, Amanda and Margaret typed in the chat, like it comes and goes. Like sometimes you're like, oh, I'm like super excited, or I have extra money, or I made a bonus at work or whatever, and you're like a little bit more in the spending department and not as cautious. And then sometimes you're like, I didn't like that one. It's an impulsive thing. But I mean, you cannot please everyone all the time. So, you know, but actually, Jessica, I'm grateful you said this, because I do think a lot of times people have good intention. You are so right. I mean, if y'all notice on the Zooms, even like sometimes on the Treasure Talk, you'll have, you know, somebody will be sharing something because, you know, we're always featuring one of you or somebody on your team's doing something or whatever, because we all need the inspiration and the tips. And you'll have somebody type in the chat, nobody will tell me, yes, they want to have a party. And it's not that they're trying, like you said, they're not trying to be that way. I do believe 99.9% of people have good intentions. I really do believe that. But they're probably feeling alone. And so, you know, I was thinking as you were talking, maybe we make it a point, you guys, that at some times when you see that person, wherever it is, and you may not always have the time, okay, that, you know, connect with them. What I try to do often, at least in my team chats, if somebody says something and I'm like, ooh, this could go a wrong direction, I will just say, hey, you know, comment and say, you know, hey, Emily, I'll reach out to you, you know, I'll give you a quick call. Because then I get to hear more about it. So maybe utilize that technique too, if you see something within your teams. Melanie, did you want to share?
Yes. Hey, I'm driving, so I can't turn my camera on. Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to go back to that where you were talking about the positivity
Mhm.
and tying that in with the titleless leader.
Yes.
In my former job, which was in communications for the fire department, I used to ask our supervisors, who's the leader on your team? And of course, they would always say, well, I am. No, you're not. You're not. You are the person with the rank. But the person who is the leader on your team is that person on your shift that everybody turns to when something new is put out. When we would put out new policies or something that they could or could not do, I would try to find the person on the team that people respected the most. And it might be somebody that had just been there 5 years.
Mhm.
But if that person bought into it, it was easier for the rest of the team to buy into it. If that person said, oh, that's never going to work, then the rest of the team would buy into that. Oh, this is a bad thing, so we shouldn't do it. I'm not going to support it. I even had supervisors at one time say, and I had to say, can y'all stop saying this? Well, because management said we're going to do it. This is the way we're going to do it, but I don't like it. And of course, their team would all not be supportive of it, whether it was good for them, bad for them, good for the community, or whatever. But it's how it was fed to them and who bought into it. So I don't know how else to say that, but you've got to find that person or be that person that is going to find the light in whatever you're trying to share and not always focus on the negativity.
Well, and Melanie, you're so right. And I mean, again, it reminds me a little bit of like Megan and I having that conversation about the Sparkle Box. You know, Megan didn't have ill intent. She didn't, literally her experience in that moment was her experience. Two dropped off.
Mhm.
Oh no, you know, and so it was really good to sometimes or not really good. It's how it was presented to you, what your perspective was at that time, what your experience was at that time. And you're right, Melanie, if it's something is presented to you and maybe a not as positive light, then that is going to be how you receive it. So
Yeah. So
thank
my
you.
takeaway from that is when a piece sells out, then I can create FOMO and say, oh my God, girl, the birdie bracelet is gone. If you want that necklace and earrings, you better grab it now. Instead of saying, oh, it's sold out, they didn't make enough. You know, create a little FOMO with it.
That's
But
what Scott would
anyway.
tell you. Let me tell you something. If you ever text Scott or talk to Scott and you bring up the opposite, I'm not gonna say you're gonna get your hand slapped because that is not his style, but like he ran the most successful organization within Park Lane. You guys, he carried the bag. He knows, and he knows how to spend things. And spin is probably like a bad word, but it works. I mean, if somebody comes to you and they're upset, a customer, about the birdie bracelet, which honestly, is it gone, y'all? Because I meant to buy one. I love pearls. I wanted to have one of those as a forever piece. I don't save a lot of jewelry, but I do save my pearls. But he will tell you, like, you spend that and you create demand. Like this is how the world works. You know, speaking on that, Sally Neff was sharing with a group of us the other day. Her daughter loves Kendra Scott. Her daughter's like 5th grade. You know, a lot of those young girls love those Kendra Scott necklaces and stuff. And there was some new collection and it sold out in like 12 hours. And it was not, Sally as the consumer was not pissed. She was like, golly, that stuff is hot. Like, do you see? Like sometimes we get so freaked out because Park Lane represents Jessica Powers. Park Lane represents Margaret Dempsey. Park Lane represents, you know, Liz Cambra. But like, if it's a company that you're purchasing from and you're like, golly, that was a hot item. You know, you're not like, well, those idiots. I mean, maybe you kind of are, but I mean, you think, well, shoot, I got to jump on it fast. You know, it's like, oh gosh, they know what they're doing mentality. So anyway, sometimes it's harder when it's us because we're behind the brand. But any other last comments, you guys? Nobody gets mad at Amazon. Well, they may, but you know, none of us can talk to anybody in Amazon. So, and let me tell you, it does not keep me from shopping from Amazon. Like, no.
Hey, Chrissy,
I just want to, oh, sorry. I was just going to make clear that it's not about the Sparkle Box necklace. It was about the way it was marketed. And I'm trying to stick to the point, you know,
Yes.
to the point.
Well, and I hope I didn't come across as shame on Megan. I was honestly so grateful with how you handled it because that was really the point I wanted to bring up is that, Emily, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to share real quick that I grew up with one brother that's 10 months older than me, no sisters. And so for my team, it's like I have all these sisters and we get to have fun together. And sometimes there's a little, you know, sideways conversations that happen. And I would never be like intentionally mean or fussy with any of them, but I have to bring our sisters back together, right? So that's how I see my team. And like, it's not just me, it's all of us in it together. And we're, you know, a bunch of sisters is how I see it. And so it's nobody with a title. We're a family. We're a bunch of sisters hanging out. Like you legit have sisters. I don't legit have sisters. So I've adopted all of these in, and them sharing with me. Oh my gosh, we've had some really deep connections. Like Jeanetta's in charge of all of our mega party training. I don't do anything with mega party training for our team. Kathy's in charge of all of our new stylist training, and I just get to pop in and do the fun stuff like the big sister. And then Rain's in charge of our Sparkle box every month, and I just get to pop in and, and do the fun stuff. And so like, as you're thinking of your team, if you want to think of them in a different capacity, sisterhood is a good one because you have your disagreements, but you also want to share the love, right? You want to delegate and you want to share the responsibilities out, kind of like, borrowing your sister's shirt or shoes or purse and not giving it back. That's what we're sharing. Don't give me back the mega party. Don't give me back the new stylist training. Just keep that. But that's what I think of when I think of like all the topic about today is more about a collaboration of sisterhood that does everything together.
Mhm. And we do, I don't know who typed it in the beginning. I'd have to scroll way too much back, but whoever you are that like you came from somewhere else, and the sisterhood here, is a real thing. I mean, we are, it's just a wonderful culture that we have here at Park Lane. So Crystal, thank you, Emily. Crystal, did you want to say something?
Yes, hello. So mine is more of a question just because I'm new here.
Yeah. Crystal is a newer area leader, you guys. She promoted last month. So yay.
Thank you. Okay, so I know I've popped in our chat, if I saw something sold out or something like that. So should I feel like I wasn't being negative, and I don't think that this is like directed at me in any means, but is that allowed, or should we not do that and come to you first, or come to like our upline? Or
no, you absolutely can do that. I mean, because somebody may know in the chat, like, hey, do you guys know? It's all in how it's handled, Crystal. I guarantee you didn't handle it in a bad way.
Okay.
So if y'all are like, oh gosh, I'm trying to enter the, whatever, I don't know, romance earrings. I don't know what these are called. Enchant. I don't know. I wasn't able to add them to my cart. Does anybody know? That's different than like, I don't know. I can't think of a way like, well, shoot, I just bought those and now I'm not being able to sell them. Like,
yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like something I didn't know. And I'm
right. Yeah, no, you're good. Right. Rachel, the system's so stinky car. Why can't we fix this? Right. Like, yeah, I mean, that kind of attitude's not helping anybody. Complaint with no possible solution versus like, I just want to know because I know how to tell my customer.
Yes,
you're asking, so I know what to tell my customer, or I know that because sometimes there is a glitch. Sometimes there is a glitch. So, or maybe, I don't know, but yeah, no, that's not a bad thing. It's just how it's handled.
I have to say, the chat in the weekends when customer service is down is like a lifesaver.
It
so
is.
If we didn't have each other, I don't know how many times Liz Canberra has saved me with Sparkle Box back office issues. I mean, so
Liz
if
is
we
the
didn't have
best.
each other, then I don't know what we would do. I mean, on the weekend especially.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Liz, there's Liz. Liz, you guys, is our resident Park Lane expert. She's been around for like 18 years or something, right?
16.
16, almost. Yeah. So she's been around longer than any of us. Or maybe Dawn Marie Rizzi. Dawn Marie Rizzi may beat her. Right, Dawn? Dawn Marie, Dawn? Yeah, it was over 20. I was going to say, yeah. So we got a collaboration, a lot of experience on this team. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the collaboration. Remember, no call Tuesday next week because of Illuminate, and making sure there's nothing else I was supposed to announce. Okay. Have an awesome rest of your Tuesday. Bye, guys.